This story begins and we are shown Paul, the owner of a textile company, who is currently talking to his son on a video call. His son's name is Martin. What happens is that he tells his father that mom's health has deteriorated once again. She is talking to herself, so Paul tells his son, "Son, don't worry, I will be back home soon." At the same time, we are shown Paul's assistant who, as soon as she closes the door of the office, sees a shadow there. As soon as she turns on the light again, there is no one there, but as soon as she turns off the light again, that terrible shadow is there, and once again when she switches the light on and off, that shadow is very close to her. That is why she quickly comes to Paul and tells him that there is someone in the back room but Paul. He was talking on the phone, that's why he didn't pay attention to her and he asked her to go home. While leaving, Paul's assistant also leaves there asking him to be careful, and now after completing the work, when Paul himself also goes home. When he is going, he also sees that terrible shadow. He notices that the shadow is slowly coming closer to him. Now Paul runs away from here to save his life, but that terrible shadow attacks him. Jisoo gets deep claw marks on her feet and then she comes very close to the pole where the pole understands that she can only live in the dark because she cannot come into the light, and now that is why the pole quickly runs away and goes to his office, but suddenly all the lights go off and suddenly someone tries to open the door of his office and the door opens but no one is seen there, but suddenly something hits the pole. She pulls him back and kills him. His condition has become very bad. Now after this we are shown Martin who is about to sleep, but then he hears some voices, and when Martin goes to check he finds that his mother is talking to someone in the dark. When Martin's mother sees her son, she tells him that we scared you, which makes Martin very scared. He is quite surprised because there is no one here except his mother. Now after this, Martin starts going to sleep again, but when he looks back at his mother, he sees terrible claws behind his mother. Seeing this, Martin gets very scared. He closes the door of his room and quickly climbs on his bed, but then someone tries to open the door of his room, which is why Martin is not able to sleep properly that night. Now the next day, Martin is sleeping in school itself, that is why the child wears. The fair people call his mother Sophie first, but since Sophie cannot be contacted, they call her stepsister Rebecca here. Now the school people tell Rebecca that Martin had fallen asleep as soon as he arrived here, and this is the third time this week that Martin has done so. That's why Rebecca comes to her mother Ravika's house with her brother Martin. Here Ravika asks Martin if your mother is similar to anyone. Martin replies that my mother is similar only to Diana and only to her. Rebecca is very surprised to hear this. She says that there is nothing like Diana and there is a little argument between Rebecca and her mother. After this, when Martin asks her to leave from here, when he is packing clothes, he peeks into his wax room and then that terrible shadow scares him again. This time Ravika tells her mother that she will take Martin to her house for a few days. Sophie cries a lot after hearing this. She tries hard to stop these two children, but Ravika does not listen to a single word of her mother, and Martin is also scared, so he also does not listen to anything of his mother, and so it goes. They go, and at night Ravika suddenly wakes up from her sleep and she finds that Martin is not with her. Then Ravika hears scratching sounds at her door. She thinks that maybe her brother Martin is making these sounds. And then Ravika sees the same demonic shadow in the dim light outside, but before that, the light turns off again. Ravika quickly goes and turns on the light. Ravika quickly goes to the bathroom. She sees that Martin is here. He was sleeping in the bathtub, and even while sleeping, he had turned on a torch and was holding it in his hands. Now the next morning a woman from child welfare comes and takes Martin with her because according to the law, Sophie was Martin's guardian. Now Rebecca's eyes fall on the place where she and the evil shadow were scratching at that place during the night. There she had written a name and had also drawn a picture of a child. After this, Rebecca along with her boyfriend went to her mother. When she goes to Diana's house, she asks her BF to stay downstairs and keep guard so that if her mother comes, she can inform him. Here Rebecca was searching for all the proofs related to Diana, then here she found a box. There are some records of Diana and her mom, while Rebecca also finds a picture of her mother and Diana. Here Rebecca also comes to know that when her mother was young, she was admitted to a mental hospital, and there her mother had Diana. At that time Diana had a strange kind of skin disease due to which she could not come in the sunlight, and if she came in the light then her skin would start burning. Here Diana and her waxwork got good treatment. Friendship was formed, but the rest of the people here believed that Diana was a devil, that is, she used to possess people very easily. She also possessed her father and forced him to commit suicide in the hospital. Due to an experimental cure, Diana lost her life due to the bright light. Now when Rebecca goes to her old room, the devil attacks her by locking her there. Now Rebecca starts screaming and hears the sound of a scream. As soon as her BF comes inside, lights come on here, due to which Diana leaves Ravika. Now Ravika gets very scared due to this, and she takes that box and leaves from here with her BF. Sophie and Martin are coming to their house here. Sophie tells Martin that I want to spend a good time with you and says that all three of us will sit and watch a movie tonight, due to which Martin gets scared again and tells his mother, "Mom, when we both are watching TV, Sophie switches off the lights of her house and Diana comes here, due to which Martin gets very scared. Here Sophie tells her son, don't worry. Diana is my friend. I kept her away from me for a long time, but now Diana will live with us like our family." And now when Martin sees Diana and gets badly scared, he switches on the lights and runs away from her. Now Diana angrily kills Sophie too. Now Martin quickly runs away to Rebecca's house, and now here Rebecca also tells the story of her wax to her brother. She says that we have to save our wax from this evil. And we have to give her medicine, because when she does not take medicine, she becomes mentally weak and Diana easily dominates her at that time. To which Martin says that Diana will never let her do this because my father also did this. There was an attempt, but he killed my father only. Then the doorbell rings, and when Ravika checked, there is no one there, and then a sound came from one of their rooms. Diana sat and pulled Martin down in the dark, but here Rebecca saved her. Now after this, Rebecca comes to her mom's house with Martin and her boyfriend Wait. Rebecca talks to her mom about Diana. Now at first Sophie acts completely unknown, as if she does not know Diana. Yes, but when Ravika shows her picture with Diana, Sophie says that yes, Diana is my friend, and due to this, an argument takes place between the two, mother and daughter, due to which Sophie angrily goes to her room. Now after this, Ravik asks her brother Martin to go with her, but despite so much danger, Martin refuses to go, saying my mother needs me and how can I leave her in this difficult time? I can go. And now hence Ravika and Bed also get ready to stay here. Now Ravika turns on all the lights of the house and puts tape on them so that no one can switch off the lights. Along with this, she also adds more extra lights in the house. Her mother looks very upset and she secretly hands the piece of paper to Rebecca, and when Ravika opens that piece of paper, it is written I need help. Seeing this, Ravika understands that Sophie is in trouble and she is secretly asking for help from Diana. Now Ravika tells her brother Martin that she will find some way or the other to help her mother, and after this, everything will be fine. Now at night, Diana cuts the power of the entire house. It becomes dark everywhere, and when Rebecca opens her eyes, she gets scared after seeing the darkness. She goes to the basement to fix the light. Now Martin also wakes up and finds himself alone in the room. He gets scared, he takes the candle and looks for Rebecca, and then Diana comes here. Diana scares him a lot. She starts dragging him, and when Martin lights the candle towards her, she leaves him, and now Martin too. Somehow he reaches his sister in the basement. When both of them are here, they realize that some trap has been laid for them by sending them here in the basement, and then Diana closes the door of the basement. Now these two sisters and brothers were banging on the door of the basement and calling Brad for help. Hearing their voice, Brad comes here and he was trying to open the door to take them out, and then Diana attacks him. Due to this, the torch slips from his hand and falls far away. Now as soon as Diana is about to kill him, he saves himself by turning on the mobile light, but now Diana attacks him and breaks his mobile too. Now that's why Brad hurried up. He starts running out of the house, and as soon as he reaches the dark, Diana attacks him again, but he saves himself by turning on the car lights, and now he goes away from here. Meanwhile, Sophie also gets blinded. She opens up and understands that Diana is not her friend. She is trying to harm her children too. Now here Diana goes, to which Sophie tells her that you stay away from my children, which Diana scares her too. Sophie tries hard, but she is not afraid, and she tells Diana that you need me and that is why you stay away from my children. Now when Sophie starts taking medicine for depression, Diana hits her so that her head hits the table. She becomes unconscious, and here Diana does not let her take the medicine, because if she takes the medicine then she will become mentally strong and she will not be able to control her. On the other hand, both the sisters and brothers light a fire in the basement and light it there. Here Martin gets a Ubalite and Rebecca goes inside with that Ubalite so that she can get something she needs. Rebecca comes to know that Diana lives here in the basement because here there is darkness all the time, and there is also a message written here which Diana had written for Rebecca, in which she had written that if she comes between her and Sophie, she will kill her. And then Diana comes here and attacks Rebecca. She attacks because the light is not strong enough to scare Diana. Now Rebecca starts running away from her, but then Diana catches her hand. Suddenly a light comes on and Rebecca's skin starts burning. This light was brought by Martin, so she leaves Rebecca and both of them run away from her. These two hear the sound of police sirens, so they start knocking on the basement door, and this police brought Brett with a male. And there was a female police officer. He takes Rebecca and Martin out of the basement, and then the witch comes. She attacks the senior police officer and kills him. Rebecca asks the female police officer to use the light, but she does not use her light. Rebecca doesn't listen and Diana kills her too. Rebecca gives Martin the bread and sends her out, and she goes upstairs to pick up Sophie, and here once again Diana attacks Rebecca and lifts her, throws her down, and at the same time she also tells her that she will kill him like her father. But now before that Diana kills Rebecca, and then here comes Sophia and she tells her that I told you, you stay away from my children, and she takes a gun and shoots Diana. On which Diana says that nothing will happen to me with this gun, and that is why Sophie shoots herself, because Diana was here only because of Sophie. And so as soon as Sophie dies, Diana also dies, and here Sophie gave her own life to save the lives of her children. She sacrificed her entire life. Now the entire police team reaches here, and now Raves, Martin and Brett promise to be with each other, and with this scene the story ends here.